Well, John, I guess we're going to have to throw John out as well. Let me read a little bit to you. And everybody's talking about their favorite Bible. This is my favorite Bible. It's the New American Standard. And my parents gave it to me a lot of years ago. And it has some references, concordance, that kind of stuff. I don't know concordance, but and it gives you a little bit of historical background, stuff they teach at Bible college. So, excuse me, in the introduction to the Gospel according to John, let's read under here. They have a section called Date. Though the Gospel of John used to be dated by some extreme critics as being written in the middle of the 2nd century, would be your case for it, the discovery of the Rylands papyrus fragment, a few verses from John chapter 18, dated about 135 AD, forced an earlier date. Several decades would have been required between the original writing of the Gospel and its being copied and circulated as far as the Egyptian hinterland where the fragment was found. The Gospel was apparently being circulated between 89 and 90 AD, though it may have been written from Ephesus earlier. In parentheses, it says a pre-70 AD date has been suggested on the basis of chapter 5, verse 2, which may indicate that Jerusalem had not yet been destroyed. Close parentheses. Discoveries at Qumran have attested to the genuineness of the Jewish background and thought patterns seen in the book. Okay, so there's the date. Now, let's get into the scripture. Reading in chapter 1, verse 1 of John, the Gospel according to John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So let's stop right there. So, according to this, the Word, everybody says, is the Bible, God's words, Old Testament, that kind of stuff. But, as I always say, you have to put everything in context. So let's read a few more verses. Actually, let's go to all the way to verse 14 and see what it says. So, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. So see right here it says that the Word is He. It's not the Bible. It's not the Old Testament. It's not the Torah. It's He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being by Him, the He, the Word. And apart from Him, nothing came into being that has come into being. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. In the light and the darkness. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. Verse 6, there came a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came for a witness, that he might bear witness of the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came that he might bear witness of the light. So if we turn back here, in Him was life. So the Word is Him, and in Him was life, and the light was the light of men. So the light comes back to Him, or the Word. He came for a witness, that he might bear, back in verse 7, he might bear witness of the light, the Word, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, John the Baptist was not the light, but came that he might bear witness of the light. There was the true light, which, coming into the world, enlightens every man. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. So he was made through the world was made through him, but the world didn't know him. He came to his own, He came to his own, so the light, the Word, came to his own. And those who were his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, even to those who believe in his name. Verse 13, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. This is where he's talking about born again. You must be born again, not of blood, not of the will of flesh, not of the will of man, but of God. And that goes back to what I was talking about in the 2 videos I made on the second covenant. Verse 14, and the Word, he became flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, glory as of the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him, and cried out, saying, this was he of whom I said, he who comes after me has a higher rank than I, for he existed before me. So John the Baptist is saying here that he, the Word, existed before him, before John the Baptist. And actually, Jesus and John the Baptist, if you look back at Matthew, were cousins. And Jesus was, I don't know, a couple of months younger than him. So, can't be talking about the physical there. Verse 16, for all of his fullness we have all received, and grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth were realized through Jesus Christ. Again, going back to my 2 videos on the second covenant, the new covenant. No man has seen God at any time. The only begotten God, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has explained him. Okay? The Greek also allows for, he has declared him. So no man has seen God at any time. Well, if you go back at the Old Testament, God showed himself to burning bush, those kinds of things. So the times that God was revealing himself to the Old Testament prophets, that was actually Jesus. And right here it says in verse 18, no man has seen God at any time. The only begotten God, who is in the bosom of the Father. So the only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father. He has declared him. Okay? He has declared him. So if God is just God the Father, then how can he declare himself? I guess he can do whatever he wants, but so right there, brother, you cannot throw out John. And I mean, if you want to throw out John with Paul, that's fine, but right there it talks about Jesus, YESHUA, is the Word. And go back to verse 1. It says, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was Jesus. Jesus. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And Jesus was God. So, there's no triple deity. It's one God in 3 persons. Okay? John, my brother, I know we've been kicking this around for a while. Like I said, it takes me a while. I've looked at the Greek on this, and I see a problem here. This all goes together. So that's what I'll leave you with. All right? So unless you want to throw out John 2 as well, it says right there. Okay? Peace.